So the first card you have your past is the High Priestess. I love this card. This is one of my favourite cards. It's a really beautiful, subtle, really mysterious card as well. You know, she reminds me a little bit of the Mona Lisa, actually, La Gioconda. Mysterious, you know, we can't tell what she's thinking or feeling or whatever. I love that. I think you can be a little bit like this, actually. You can be, you know, you can be a bit impulsive as well. You can be the opposite when you want to be. But I think this is how you were at this time. Because you didn't want to give yourself away. You didn't want to give things away. You didn't want to give your feelings away. And I think this is about someone you didn't want to give your energy away to either. You know, you just didn't want to give anything to them. It's the feeling I'm getting is, I think you're really angry with someone for a start. You weren't showing that. You weren't giving that away to them. It's a little bit like you were thinking, you know, they don't even deserve my anger. This person is so down on the list. They don't deserve my anger. They don't deserve anything, any energy at all. They don't deserve me to even lift a little finger for them. They deserve absolutely nothing. I think this is someone who was trying to connect with you. I think they were trying to send you little text messages, all of that kind of thing. And I don't think you were saying anything to them at all. I don't think you're blocking them. Because I think if you blocked them, this is how mad you were. This is how angry you were with them. If you blocked them, that would be doing something. You know, that's how mad you were. It's like, I don't want to even make a statement. I don't want to say to them, I want to block you. Because then they'd start to think, oh, they're mad at me. You know, I've gotten under their skin. Or you didn't want them to think anything about you at all. They were not even worth that to you. That's what I'm seeing. So you must have been so angry. I know this all sounds horrible, but I actually think they probably did a similar thing to you in the past, and that's why you're so angry, and that's why you're kind of getting them back or whatever. Or you don't want to get them back. You're just like, I'm not even going to give them a thing. That's what I'm getting. I'm not going to give them anything. Nothing. Not a word. Nothing. I think they did worse to you. I think they did worse to you because I'm seeing someone really ignoring you. And it happened out of nowhere. And I think you'd built things up together and they did that. So it was very, very, very hard for you. So at least you're ignoring them for a reason. They didn't give you a reason when they did that to you. But yeah, this is why you're feeling like this. And yeah, I'm seeing this now. They put you through a huge amount. They put you through a lot. You know, you went through a lot of ups and downs, and I think you might still be going through some of these emotional ups and downs now. Because if you look at this High Priestess's dress, it looks a little bit like waves, especially at the bottom of her dress. It looks like waves going up and down. And so I think your feelings and your emotions might still be up and down like these waves. So, you know, I think it takes time for these things to pass. No matter how strong you are a very, very strong person. But yeah, you're absolutely not going back to this person at all, ever again. That's it, the end. And you're not giving them anything. You're not even giving them an eyebrow raise. You're giving them nothing. That's what I'm seeing in that card. You're just so angry. Okay, so the next card you have, you pass the King of Swords. Yes. You know, I don't even think, when they sent you these little messages, I don't even think there was an apology in any of those messages. They haven't changed at all. This is what I'm seeing. You know, maybe they sent you messages. This is probably why you're so angry, because I'm seeing some kind of little messages that were kind of like, hey, how are you? Like that. And, you know, I think your attitude to those messages, or seeing that, was to be a bit like this king. Look at this king. So, you know, he's totally rational. He can see past any nonsense. And, you know, you are worth way more than, you know, just a little message saying, hey, how are you? Absolutely. Especially after what happened between you. I'm getting angry now, so I'm going to try and calm down. So, you know, it takes a lot. It takes a really special person for you to let your guard down. And that's what you thought they were. You thought they were special. And then when they showed you who they truly were, it was just like, it really felt like the bottom fell out of your world. That's how it feels. That's how it feels. And that's why I'm getting so angry, because I'm really feeling this. It's like they really, really made you feel like you'd fallen down a hole. That's what I'm getting. And I think that's why, even though you're very, very strong, you still are, you're still going through some of these up and down emotions, I should say. But yeah, again, you're not going back to them ever, ever, ever again. The other thing is, apart from that situation, I am getting a lot of ups and downs in your energy just generally anyway. So it's like, 1 minute, you might be fine, and then the next minute you just feel totally exhausted. That's what I'm getting, ups and downs. And I think you might have cut yourself off from a lot of people, not permanently, but just to sort of get your strength back and get yourself back, get yourself together. That's what I'm seeing. I'm actually seeing, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing some people around you, and they're just kind of chatting and talking, whatever. And you're just sitting there quietly, and you're just thinking to yourself, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be around these people. I just don't want to be here. And, usually you're fine with people, but I'm really getting this strong feeling of, I just don't want to be. I can't connect. I can't connect with anything. I can't connect with anything they're saying. And it was like 90% of what they were saying you just didn't get. It's like, I don't even get what are they talking about. I don't know any of this. It's like another language to me. So yeah, I think you were just spending time by yourself. And I've seen this before in your readings. I think you are going through some kind of spiritual process, some kind of ascension process maybe. It's a slow process. It's on and off as well, I think, but it's happening. And, sometimes when we go through these things or when we go through this and, we feel a disconnect, it's because we're growing and we're starting to separate from a certain thing, certain people, certain ideas and things like that. If you look at this king, he's grown. He's bigger than the landscape around him. He's grown and he's guarding himself. And guarding himself is what's setting him free, because there are butterflies above his head representing freedom, obviously. So if this is resonating, you're experiencing things that are difficult to get your head around, maybe just go with the flow, because I think you're heading upwards spiritually. It can be a beautiful experience, but it can be a very difficult experience as well. It can be an isolating experience sometimes, and it can just feel like, I don't fit in with that anymore, but where do I fit in now? So when you're going through that process, it can feel like that. So if you're recognizing anything of what I'm saying, you're probably going through something like that. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, the last card you have your past is the Queen of Cups. Okay, all right, before I go on with this card, I just want to point something out. And it's a little bit hard to see, and I don't like to pick up these cards because I'm a bit OCD actually. Okay, so now you know I am. So I don't like messing up the cards, but if you look at my Instagram, I've got a close-up of this particular card. It's the King of Swords, and I've seen, it was when I first saw this actually in this card. And if you look on there, you'll be able to see it really, really close up. But also, if I brought this up close to the camera, it probably wouldn't focus on it properly anyway. It'll probably be blurry. So that's a good way of seeing this. But if you see these little images behind this king's shoulder, there are these two little angels, and they're watching over him, protecting him. They're very, very, very small. I don't think you'd even see it if I did lift this up. But yeah. So you have someone watching over you, protecting you. I remember seeing something like this in your last reading. It was a very, very memorable reading, actually, your last reading. I remember it very well. So I just wanted to point that out because I'm seeing evidence of that again here, that someone's watching over you. Okay, so what I'm seeing in the Queen of Cups is, I'll get on to the Queen of Cups. It's a bit similar in some ways to what I'm seeing in the High Priestess, because the Queen of Cups is, a really intuitive queen. She's super in touch with her emotions. And I think you could tell when this person was going to come back, this ex. You could feel it. That's what I'm seeing. It's like you could sense them around you when they're about to. It's like maybe before they texted you or messaged you, you're like, I feel this person around me. I can just feel this. And then they message you or they call you or something. So I think that's what you were getting. And if that's making sense to you, hold on to that intuition, that sixth sense. You are using it, but maybe you're only using a small percentage of that. I don't think you've unlocked all your potential yet in that area. So, and I think as you go on this spiritual journey, if that's what you're doing, it'll probably get to the point, eventually where like you'll know what some people are going to say before they say things. I think you are actually going to get to that point. You are. I'm feeling that quite acutely here. So, and if you look closely at this card as well, she has these beautiful angels watching over her as well, just behind her on her throne. So, yeah, you're being watched over and protected. It's everywhere here. Beautiful. Okay, so the first card you have your presence, the Nine of Swords. Yes. Okay, so yeah, again, I know this is all quite specific, but if you know you're going through this process, if you're feeling this, if this is making sense to you, it's not going to be all roses, I have to say. This process can, beautiful things can come out. Beautiful things can come out to you, show themselves to you sometimes. But sometimes horrible things can come. Horrible visions can come out, things like that. That's all part of this. So if you're getting that, if you're getting some horrible dreams or things, it's part of this process. So if you are resonating with what I'm seeing so far and you do get that, it's probably a part of that. Okay, so I'm also seeing some worrying here. There might be someone around you who's a little bit impulsive, maybe. I'm actually seeing someone doing things, things that might even seem a bit dangerous or something. Maybe they're experimenting with some dangerous things. That's what I'm seeing. I hope that doesn't resonate because it looks really scary to me. But yeah, I have to say what I see. So if it is resonating, I think this is someone who's really close to you. You do really love this person, but in a platonic way. So there might be a close friend or a family member. And I'm seeing protection here as well. So you feel very protective of this person. It's like you want to protect them. They're adjusting to something, I think. They're adjusting to a big change in their lives. And you are there for them. I can see that. And you're doing the best you can. But I'm getting a feeling of guilt here. If you feel guilty in any way with what, with what this person's doing, if you feel responsible for that or guilty, Don't be like that. Don't feel like that. Try not to feel like that. I'm not seeing any reason why you should feel like that. And you're doing absolutely everything you can for them, I think. So get rid of that guilt if you can, because if that's what you're feeling, it doesn't help anyone, you or them. And, things are gradually going to improve for them. They'll settle down. And I feel as if I have to keep on telling you this. Please don't feel guilty if that's how you're feeling. Don't feel guilty. I have to keep saying that. That's what's coming into my mind. So, okay, so the next card you have your presence, the Page of Swords. Okay. All right. I don't want to make anyone feel paranoid because, I'm accused of that a lot, all the time, actually. But if I see something I'm going to say it. I don't care. If you don't want to see something that's coming up for you, because you're worried and you want me to say, oh, guess what? You've got Father Christmas coming up and the Easter Bunny, then, this really isn't for you. I have to say that. I don't want to be nasty to those people because they just want to have a nice life. So do I. But if I'm seeing something, I'm going to say, okay, so this is what I'm seeing. There's something around work, or, a business, if you run a business. I think it is in the workplace, though. I think it's a workplace. There's a lot of childishness around this, childlike energy. Just be a little bit careful. Just keep your eyes open. Someone might be trying to look over your shoulder, or maybe they're trying to claim that your ideas are theirs. It's something like that. Now, I don't think you'll have to look too carefully, actually, because whatever this is, or whoever this is, I should say, they're not very sophisticated, let's say. So I think it's going to be quite obvious that this is what they're doing. They're doing this in a kind of a crude way, actually, if that makes sense. It almost looks like, this is what it looks like to me. It looks like they're doing something like cutting and pasting their name over your work. Something like that. It's like that old movie, Catch Me If You Can, when he cut and pasted the logos over the letters and things like that. Anyway, I love that movie. So I think anyone that saw this thing that they're claiming to be theirs, they know it wasn't them. They'd know it wasn't their work. It just wouldn't be their work. It's not good enough. They're not capable of doing that kind of work. So I think you'll see this right away before it goes too far. And yeah, there's a lot of protesting here. This page is in the defensive, obviously. It's very, very childish. It's almost like, they're going to be caught, and when they are, it's like, when a child's caught stealing a chocolate or something like that, it's like, no, it wasn't me. No, it was my brother. That's a kind of silly thing I'm seeing. So it's I'm seeing these kind of protests, but it's all going to be quite obvious that this is what's happening. And if this is happening in the workplace, which I think it is, they're going to be told, this page is up on this hill, but it's green, it's full of moss, and moss is slippery. So they're going to feel like they're on shaky ground at work. So yeah, they're not going to get away with whatever this is. So don't worry, don't take it too seriously, because if what I'm seeing here is correct, because, it's so obvious that it's not them. It's so obvious. Okay, so the last card you have, your presence, the Knight of Wands. Yeah, look at this. This is why they're like this. This is why they're doing this. They're doing this because they're not sure of themselves. They're unsure of themselves. They might be a loud person, and if they are, that's all part of them feeling a bit inadequate. They would need to make up for that by seeming louder and bigger than they actually are. They're just not in control of themselves. The thing is, if they just concentrate on themselves, and, if they made a genuine effort for themselves, then they get somewhere. They wouldn't have to resort to these things. Look at this knight. He's trying to control this horse, and he can't do that. It's jumping up and down. And while he's concentrating on that, he's not looking at these pyramids. I don't know if you can see them. I'll just move that a little bit so you can see. So, yeah, there are these pyramids behind him. And pyramids are all about ascension, rising up. So he can do this. This is a reminder to him. Look at this. You can rise up if you want to, but he's not looking in that direction. He's too busy jumping up and down and being silly and concentrating on other things. So, I think the outcome of this, what happens to this person, might not actually satisfy you. You might not be happy with the punishment or the result of whatever happens. But they are going to learn from this. And yeah, I think they'll stay out of the way for a while. You won't see much of them for a while, thank goodness. Okay, so the first card you have for your futures, the Fool. Okay, so I'm not going to say they're a fool. This is something else. Okay, so I think this might be, I'm seeing some kind of business here or some kind of operation where you're going out on your own. So I think it might be that you're in a job now and you have a business on the side, or maybe you're hoping to run your own business. Maybe you've already started. It might be that. I don't know. I'm seeing a big ambition here. It's very, very, very big. You want to take this big. You want this to be big. That's what I'm seeing. You're very passionate about this, but you might not be telling people this. You might be hiding this from some people, because if you look at this Fool, he's wearing red, but it's on the inside of his tunic. You can just see it on his sleeves. So you've got this passion and you're kind of hiding it a bit, I think. And I think that's a good way to be for you at this time, actually, especially if this is something you've just started. Because quite often when people try to start things like this, they have people around them telling them to stop and that they're doing the wrong thing and they're foolish. A bit like this dog that's kind of jumping up and down and he's trying to stop this Fool. But I don't think anyone can stop you. I think some people around you who... Yeah, there are some people around you who don't know what you're capable of. That's what I'm seeing. Because if you look at the sun, we can't see all the sun, we can only see part of the sun. So they can only see part of what you can do. They can't see all of what you can do. And my feeling is that you're probably happy for it to be this way right now. I think you'd rather have people just leaving you alone to get on with things, even if they're assuming that you can't do what you're doing. That's fine. They can assume whatever they like. You just want to get on with things. You just want to be left alone. You do have a lot of I'll show them inside you, and that'll come out later. But I think for now, I think you're just working away on this and you're happy to be left alone to do that. That's what I'm seeing. All right, so the next card you have, your future, is the Chariot. Okay, so yeah, you're going ahead with this. The Chariot's moving ahead, and you know this is the right way for you to go. There's a lot of rebelliousness inside you as well. So I think if anyone tells you you can't do something, you almost feel as if you're compelled to do that exact thing. And yeah, even though you're determined, you might still have some doubts. There might be a bit of fear inside you. But you're going to do it anyway. But it feels a little bit like, when a child starts to walk and they're a bit afraid and they sort of wobble backwards and forwards before they get used to things, but they still try. They're compelled to do that because it's in their nature. They have to do those things. They have to learn to walk. They have to learn to crawl. They have to learn to do these things. And so they have to. They're compelled. And that's how it's going to feel for you. You're going to be fearful, but you're going to keep going anyway. I think you're actually going to hit a signpost, a marker, or something like that quite soon. It might be, your first contract. It might be your first big contract or something. It can be anything, but it's something that's up ahead of you, and it's going to show you, it's telling you that you're on the right track, you're doing the right thing. And I think when that happens, you're going to feel a lot calmer. It's going to feel like, oh, okay, that's a sign. I know where I'm going. I know I'm going in the right direction. So, and if you can just start going ahead and doing what you need to do without having that fear inside of you, that's quite a rare thing to start with, firstly. And it's quite powerful as well. So I think once you get past this big milestone, yeah, you'll have a lot more confidence and you'll be a lot bolder and you'll take some more risks, I think. Because you can be a risk taker. And I think that's going to make you, okay, I'm more confident. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to take some more risks, which is really good because you have the Fool as well. Okay, so the last card you have, your future's the King of Wands, yes. Okay, I think this is about this ex of yours, the one you're ignoring. So, yeah, you're not going to hear from them for a while, but then I think they're going to, I think for a while what's going to happen is they're just going to say to themselves, well, that's it, they're not interested, and then they'll probably go off, and I think what's going to happen is they're going to try to pursue other people for a while. That's the nature of the King of Wands, but I think they are going to eventually come back to you again at some time, and yeah, this is kind of going in circles or cycles. I'm just looking at this lizard, this salamander that's behind this king's head, and he's kind of going around in circles. So that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to cycle around. They're going to go to one person, then they're going to go to the next person, then the next, until they come back around to you. So yeah, you're absolutely doing the right thing if you're ignoring them, because I'm not seeing them looking for anything or anyone with any depth at all. So you were right, your instincts were right.